introduction. Thank you for the welcome. Thank you, Becca Music, for having me here. Can we thank Becca Music for making this happen for me to be here, please? Thank you. Well, I'm 33 years old, and I don't know how many of you have heard me speak before. Can I turn on the lights a little bit? Brady, can you jump up here on stage? I want to get a photo of all these beautiful people. Can you turn on the lights in the house? No, you had them before. You had other lights. Different buttons. Press different buttons. Let's light this baby up. Can we? No? Where are the lighting people? You had it before, right after the video. Turn on all the lights that you can. Because I'm going to get a big photo. I can't even see you guys at the back. First of all, put your hand up if you've never heard me speak. Put your hand up if you've never heard me speak. Okay, put your hand down. Wonderful. We're just going to wait. This is Braden. Everyone say hi, Braden. There we go. Hey! Oh, that's how you did it, huh? All right, ready? Everyone, put your hands in the air. All right. I heard there are 10,000 people. It is wonderful to be here. Thank you so much to the lighting guys for helping me do that. And the clock people, I forgot my wristwatch, so you might want to start my clock right now. That's a good thing to do. Well, I'm originally from Australia, and 10 years ago, I really felt that the next season of my life in my speaking career at age 23 was going to be in California. And I'm very glad I made that step of faith out there to California, because it was a couple of years later, it was April 2010, about 7 years later, that I actually met my wife. I looked at Kanae, she's half Japanese, she's half Mexican, Japsican. And I looked at her, she looked at me, and I couldn't feel my legs. It was love at first sight. And when I looked at her, she looked at me, and 6 months later we started dating, and it was really cool, because in our dating, in our courtship, the first 3 months of our relationship, I actually went through a personal financial crisis. I actually lost all of my money. And someone stole some money from me as well. And I was doing too many things at the same time, and this went wrong, and this went wrong, and this went wrong, and I was just a mess. And I told my wife, I said, Kanae, I just lost all of my money. She said, that's okay. I'll just get a nursing job, and I'll support the both of us. And I'm like, man, who is this woman? And I just felt at that time, that I felt that from God saying, you know what, Nick, this is the woman that's going to stand by your side no matter what. And 9 months later, yeah, you can clap to that. 9 months later, you know, a little cream puff, a little cake, right? A little pastry cake. I got my bakery to put the ring in a cream puff, and gave us a tray of cream puff, and the one with the ring was with the powdered sugar on it. So I got her to feed me that one, and I finished the cream puff without choking on the ring. And I said, baby, let me kiss your hand. So she gives me her left hand, and I went down her ring finger. She's like, what are you doing getting kinky on me, you know? But I didn't lay a hand on her, I promise, all right? And I pulled back and she sees the ring, and I said, baby, I love you, I want to spend the rest of my life with you, will you please marry me? And she said yes, and 6 months later we got married, and 1 year and 1 day after that, we have our firstborn son, Kiyoshi. He's now 3.5 years old. He's taller than me already. And we also conceived a baby boy who's now a year old as well. So we have 2 boys, Kiyoshi and Dayan. And Kiyoshi, you know, he's amazing. He was our firstborn, and so many things went through my head, you know, when I saw him for the first time. And one of the first things I thought to myself was, man, how did my mom and dad do this? And Kiyoshi's got arms and legs. And, you know, you kind of wonder, it's like, wow, all the questions of life and the ups and downs. You see my foot, ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs. And how do you keep the peace in the storm? You see my 2 feet, peace. 2 toes. How do you keep peace in the storm? And, you know, I used to be actually concerned that I would never get married. I thought even if I got married, I can't even hold my wife's hand. Well, I don't need to hold my wife's hand, I just need to hold her heart. And how am I going to hold my kids when they're crying? Kiyoshi, when he cries, I can't put my arms around him, but he puts his arms around me. And you know, there are some things in our life that happen that don't make sense, and you could probably call them as broken pieces. But you don't know a beautiful thing to come from your broken pieces until you give your broken pieces a chance. Some of us never give ourselves a chance. We look ourselves in the mirror and we wish things were different. We look at our bank account and we wish things were different. We look at whatever, our house, we wish things could be different. And I want you to know that in your life and in mine, we have choices. And I can't make those choices for you, and never would I ever try to change any belief systems. But for me, it's 1, 2, 3, faith, family, and friends that help me in my life. And I know it's the faith of God that helped my parents, you know. They didn't know what to do. They took me home, but they didn't know where to begin. The doctors told my parents that I would never walk. The doctors don't know why I was born this way. My parents don't know why I was born this way. And Lady Gaga don't know why I was born this way. You know, children, they come up to me and they say, "What happened?" And I say, "Cigarettes." I love freaking people out, man. Especially adults, man. Like, you know, the overhead compartment of the planes where you put your bag up, you know? I got my friends to put me up there. And I had all the leg room I needed, you know what I'm saying? And actually on one of the YouTube videos, you'll see it, but I actually dressed up as a pilot and greeted the passengers as they got on the plane. Some people started praying to Jesus for the first time. But the funniest one was I was one day in the car. Can you turn me down a little bit? Thanks. I was one day in the car and we're at the traffic lights, and this car comes up next to us, and this girl's looking at me. So I'm looking at her. She's looking at me. I'm looking at her. She's looking at me. I'm looking at her. And all she sees is my head from the side. Now just imagine all you see is my head. Wait, which angle you got? You got this camera now? Which camera are you on? I'm trying to figure it out. Are you on your camera? No? Or is there another camera out there? There we go. Get my head. Zoom in a little bit. Not too much. Okay. Ready? All you see is my head. I just did this. And her face was like... It's so funny. Ready? Finish off the sentence for me. You don't know what you can achieve until you... Hello, Manila. I heard there were 10,000 people. I think I saw you. Ready? What happens when you fail? Okay, so let's repeat those two things. Ready? You don't know what you can achieve until you... What happens when you fail? You don't know what you can achieve until you... Is it okay to fail? Yes. Have you failed before? Yes. Are you still alive? Yes. Is it okay that you failed? Yes. Did you learn from it? Yes. Good. You see, you gotta understand that there are many times in life where we never try things because we're scared. Let me show you the power of something that gives you strength to do something even while you're afraid. What's the word I'm looking for when you do something even though you're afraid? Courage. Let me show you what courage is. I'm going to jump off the table, do a backflip, and land on the floor. Ready?
Oh my God.
Are you ready? Girls, are you ready? Boys, are you ready? Joking, man. No way. If I do that, I'll break my arm or something, alright? But you know, there is a destiny. There is a purpose for us all. And you see this table here, it's like a timeline. Now we know that today, I'm 33 years old, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm an author, I'm a speaker, I'm an evangelist. I'm very happy, I know my purpose, I know the truth of my value, I know the truth of my destiny, I believe in heaven, I believe that God is with me and I don't need anything more. I want you to know that I am satisfied at age 33. Don't need anything more. I could die tonight and be happy, for real. When I was 8 years old, looking ahead, I never thought I'd be happy. I never thought I'd be able to do this. I never thought, no way. Why? Because of all the bullies at school. Everyone was looking at me and everyone had arms and legs but me. And I asked my mom and dad what happened, they don't know. So I said, so what's going to happen when you and mom are dead? Who's going to look after me? Well, God's going to look after you and you've got uncles and aunts and friends. I'm like, but that doesn't really help. Like seriously, I'm just going to be a burden to everyone? Am I going to get a job? What if I don't get married? I believe that fear and loneliness are two bigger disabilities than having no arms and legs. You can have arms and legs but not know what you're living for. And when I was 8 years old, I convinced myself I'll never get married, I'll never be happy, I'm just alone, I'm just a burden. God's not even real because where is He? How can He be such a good, loving God when He let this happen to me? There is no hope, just give up. Sorry, I had to. When I was 10 years old, I actually tried to drown myself. I attempted suicide. Why? Because I felt like there was no hope. Everyone say the word hope. Hope. Say it again. Hope. Say it again. Hope. Hope. What is hope? Hope is not something that I can take out of my pocket and put it in yours. Hope is not something that you can buy. Hope is not something that you can make up. Some people believe that, well, I don't believe in, a religion because I believe everything has to be explained by science. Really? Then there's no such thing as witchcraft. There's no such thing as voodoo. There's no such thing as demons. But I've seen it. And I know that science can't explain it. And just because you can't see it or you don't believe it doesn't change anything. Science can only explain so much. And I want you to understand in your life that hope is real. If it's real, have you found it? What is your hope? Who are you? And what do you want? Any 8-year-olds here tonight? I know it's a little young for this crowd, but give me a woo if you're 8 years old. Are you 8 years old? Yeah? Can I ask you a question? You're in the second row. You simply do this for yes, and you simply do this for no. Okay, ready? Here's the question. Have you ever been stressed? You're like, yeah. What, is it because of your siblings? Is it because of your homework? Yes. Any 13-year-olds, give me a woo! Now you know what stress is, right? Oh, everything's changing! All my friends, they're changing on me. They invite me to the party, then they uninvite me to the party. My parents don't understand me, and they're freaking me out, and they're so annoying because they put a do not disturb sign on my door, and they still come into my room and they freak me out. I don't even know who I am anymore. I'm so stressed out. I need a boyfriend now. And then the 17-year-olds, oh, you're stressed. If I can just get out of high school and get into university, then everything's gonna be what? Okay. You get to university, is everything okay? No. Because now you're position, and now you need money. Oh, if I can just get a job, then everything's gonna be okay. You finally get your job, and you look at your boss, and you say, what? You look at God and say, seriously? You gave me hair? I hate hair. Is the son of the devil himself? And then you get through that and now you're single and you're like, oh, if I could just get married, then everything's gonna be okay. No! Go talk to some married people. If you're not happy single, you're not gonna be happy married. Can you hear it, amen? Yeah. All the married people say, amen! I want to ask you, who are you? What do you want? I wanted arms and legs so bad, to the point that if I didn't get it, I wouldn't be happy. But hey, and I still have no arms and legs. What happened? What changed? You know, it's the disabilities of the heart that will hold you back. And parents, I want you to know that what my parents did for me is they said that I'm special, that God loves me, do your best and God will do the rest. They prayed for me. And the only reason why I did not go through with the suicide was because of their love for me. I didn't want to leave them with that pain, so I decided to stay. You see, I was waiting for a miracle, but instead I became a miracle for someone else. At 24 years old, I'm speaking in front of a crowd in Southern California. I look out and I see a little boy with no arms and no legs, just like me, with a little foot. And I'm like, wow, so awesome. And I got the father to bring him up on stage in his little 19-month-old little body. And I'm looking down at him and he's looking up at me. And I can't give him a high five, so I give him a low two. And then he smiled, and then when he smiled, everyone cried. Why? Because it was a beautiful thing. I hugged his mom, and I hugged his dad, and they cried. And I said, you know what, when little Daniel goes to school and he gets bullied, I'm coming to his school in my wheelchair, and I'm going to run them all over. No, I didn't do that. That's not the Christian thing to do. But I saw also, though, my mom hug his mom and cry, and my dad hug his dad and cry. They were very scared to have a second child. But then they saw that my brother and sister had arms and legs, and so Daniel now has a sister as well. I went to his school 6 years ago, and now he's not getting bullied and teased at that school. I want you to know that when you don't get everything you feel like you need, maybe you don't need it. You want money, maybe you don't need it. I'm going to tell you right now, I can't promise anyone success. But what is success? To you, to me, maybe it's different. I want you to know I've met many more poor people who are happy than many rich people who are happy. And I would rather be a poor man who's an honest man than someone who's not an honest man. I'm not saying that rich people are not honest. I'm saying some are not honest. Just like some poor people are not honest. But it doesn't matter what you have in the bank account, it's about who you are. It's about what you want. How do you love people? How do you forgive people? Or maybe you have a business, maybe you have a goal, maybe you're a student. I want you to hear this next story. There was a friend of mine called Edson, and he's now 61 years old. Edson's father was a shoe shiner in Brazil. He was living in a house in Brazil, in a house maybe twice the size of this platform, with him and his two siblings, and his mother and they were shoe shiners. His grandfather was a shoe shiner. His great-grandfather was a shoe shiner. His great-great-great-great-great-grandfather was a shoe shiner. And when Edson was 4 years old, he was a shoe shiner. He'd make a couple cents, and then he would get some rice. They would eat rice and beans for many years of their life. When he was 8 years old, he crossed the street. He got hit by a car. Bang! He's out, unconscious. A doctor was there, and he saved his life. When Edson came back to his consciousness, he was aware that a doctor saved his life. He said, you know what? I'm not going to be a shoe shiner for the rest of my life. I want to be a doctor and save lives. He actually starved himself so he could save money to get a uniform, a second-hand uniform with holes all over it. His mum sewed it up for him. Then he went to school. Soon, when he caught up at age 8, he became #1 in grade 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Number one. He did everything. He studied like crazy. He did his homework and studied even more. He loved school, and he would do everything that he could to become a doctor. He then found out which companies and which foundations give out and what universities give out scholarships. He went for this scholarship, this scholarship, this scholarship. He went for all the scholarships you could get, and he actually got them all. He went for a first interview, second interview, third interview, and when they got to the fourth interview, he made everyone who was interviewing him cry because they knew that this man, this young boy, was going to go all the way. At 33 years old, after getting a full ride scholarship all the way through med school, at age 33, he started his own hospital with 9 employees. He just sold his company 2 years ago. His company was grossing, however you want to say, $5 billion a year. 5 billion. What was his company? It was actually an insurance company. And 5,000 people paid his company $1,000 to have his hospital insurance because he had 150,000 nurses and doctors working for him in dozens and dozens and dozens of hospitals in Brazil. From a shoe shiner to a multi-billionaire. You can do it if he can. That's what we're talking about. In some aspects, that can be success. What is success? Is it just money? Do you put your happiness in temporary things? Money, drugs, sex, alcohol, pornography, fame, and fortune. If you put your happiness in temporary things, your happiness will be temporary. What do you tell 650 sex slaves about hope? 650 sex slaves at age 16. They were sold or kidnapped at age 10 for $700. What's success to them? What does hope look like to them? When their own mother sold them as a slave, what are you going to tell them? Just be positive. Reincarnation, better luck next time. What are you going to tell them? Do you have hope, young man? Do you have hope, young woman? Do you have a hope that when you put your head to rest tonight and you close your eyes and you don't wake up, do you believe in heaven? Do you believe in a hope that goes beyond death, that goes beyond all needs, that gives you a healing of spiritual and mental and emotional healing? I couldn't tell these sex slaves to be many other religions except I know that Philippines mostly is a Catholic Christian country. And I told them about heaven, I told them about God, and guess what happened? They went through a faith-based rehabilitation camp for 18 months. They got healed. They got restored. They got a job. And you know what they did with their money? They did not buy a house or a car. They saved up $700 to go back to the Brussels, to the very house that they were once slaves in, went to their previous master and said, "Hi, you don't remember me, but I was once your slave. I have come here today to wash your feet, and I forgive you, and I love you, and I'm praying for you." And after they wash their feet, the pimps and madams are crying. "Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this?" Because there's something greater for you too. There's a faith that I have that's changed me. And here's $700. Give me your newest slave. They take that slave, they take him as their sister, they take him through the rehab camp, and they both get a job, and they both save up money, and they get $700, and they go back, and they free another slave. Talk about people helping people. I would not have been able to go to university unless it was Australians helping Australians. I could not get government help like you think I got government help. I didn't. It was a non-profit organization that believed that people with disabilities should be able to go to university, so they sponsored me a nurse for 3.5 years. That at the university they would help me to do the functionalities of daily life. Australians helped Australians. In the Philippines, we know there is much need. We wait for international help, we wait for government help, we wait for this, we wait for that, we wait for economy to change. No. What if more Filipinos help Filipinos? What if you actually, instead of you wishing you had something different, wishing you had something more, why don't you try and help somebody else? For real, not just in your head. You have selfish, self-centered children who want just the next phone or the next video game. Take them to the homeless and make them feed them. Take them to a hospital where there are children dying of cancer and make those children dying of cancer laugh. You'll see what happens to the children after that. They'll start to be more thankful. That's what my parents said. Stop being angry for what you don't have, Nick. Be thankful. I tell you, man, I was one day playing soccer on the field with my friend, and he was way back, and he's ready to kick it to me, and he says, "Are you ready?" And I said, "Ah!" And I was so nervous, my palms were sweaty, my knees were shaking. And he gets ready, and he goes, like this, and this ball coming right for me, and I'm like, "Ah!" I don't know what to do. You know when something's coming for you and you know that it doesn't matter where you go, it's going to hit you and you're going to be dead? That's the feeling that I had. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to hit the ball before the ball hits me. So in slow motion, you see the Matrix where everything goes in slow motion? I jumped up in the air, like this, and I went, like this. And the ball came, hit my foot, bent it backwards, and I went, and I'm like, and my foot went, I couldn't use my foot. I couldn't even walk. I had to walk like this. I was in bed for 3 weeks looking at the ceiling, thinking, oh, this is how it feels to be disabled. You don't know what you got till it's gone. Live your life. Dream big. If a man without arms and legs is dreaming big, just know what? He's from America. He's from Australia. I don't care. What would have Nick achieved if he never tried? Nothing. What would Nick achieve?